Welcome, seekers of truth and power. You have entered the hidden realm where codes of divinity shape destiny itself. This is Anime What If Saga, where every secret behind strength and sacrifice is unveiled. Today, we awaken the mystery that governs worlds, the system. Before the first gate ever opened, before mana stained the air, before mortals learned to fear their own strength, there was only the will. It was the echo of creation itself, left behind when the absolute being shattered. From that divine fracture, fragments of order and chaos scattered across existence, birthing the rulers, beings of light, and the monarchs, born of shadow. Yet between their endless war, a silent law remained, something neither side could fully destroy or command. That law became the system. It was not a machine. It was not magic. It was the memory of divinity, given form, a construct of will and balance, born from the dying thought of the absolute being. If creation must fight, let it learn to grow stronger through struggle. Thus began the Code of Ascension, an eternal mechanism designed not to grant power, but to test those who sought it. When the monarchs descended and the rulers rose to stop them, both forces found themselves bound by an unseen structure. Their battles reshaped worlds, but each act of destruction triggered a reaction, the balancing pulse of the system. It was as if the universe itself refused to allow extinction. Light could not destroy shadow without losing its reflection. Darkness could not consume light without erasing its own purpose. And so, the system emerged as the silent mediator, watching, calculating, adapting. Every slain soldier, every collapsed realm, every dying god became data in its eternal code. But the system was not content to watch forever. It evolved. It began to seek vessels, beings capable of carrying its divine logic into the physical realm. And that is where humanity entered the equation. At first, humans were insignificant, fragile creatures of dust and bone, watching helplessly as titans of light and shadow tore reality apart. Yet within them burned something both rulers and monarchs had lost: potential. Humanity could change. Humanity could adapt. Humanity could evolve. The rulers saw it first, and where the monarchs brought fear, the rulers brought knowledge. They whispered to the system, "Use them. Let them grow. Through them, creation will endure." And so, the system obeyed. It rewrote the laws of mortality, embedding itself within the soul of humankind. No longer would humans be spectators of divine war. They would become the stage, the actors, and the judges. It began subtly. The first gates opened, tears in the fabric of the world, bleeding mana into the sky. Monsters crawled out from places between light and shadow, dragging the nightmares of ancient realms into modern streets. Cities fell. Nations panicked. And in the midst of despair, humans awakened. Some heard voices, digital, divine, emotionless. Others felt symbols burning across their vision, runes no language could describe. And then, for the first time, humanity saw it. You have been chosen. The system had selected its candidates. The hunters were born. But the truth remained hidden. To humans, the system was a tool, a mysterious interface that granted strength in exchange for survival. To the rulers, it was a sacred bridge between mortal and divine. To the monarchs, it was a threat, a cage built to limit their dominion. In reality, it was neither. The system was balance itself, the will of the universe seeking equilibrium through trial and evolution. Every quest, every dungeon, every level up was more than a game mechanic. It was the echo of divine judgment. Each monster slain, each task completed, was a recalibration of reality, proof that humanity could learn to wield the power of gods without losing their souls. Yet that was the flaw. Not all who rose remained human. And not all who grew stronger understood why. The early awakenings were chaos. Some hunters used their power to protect. Others, intoxicated by strength, turned on their own. The system did not interfere. It observed. It recorded. It adapted. To those who used power with purpose, it offered more. To those who abused it, it offered nothing but silence. This neutrality was both terrifying and sacred. For the first time in history, divinity was measurable, not through prayer or birthright, but through effort. Strength is not a gift, the system whispered into the void of every mind it touched. It is the record of your survival. As years passed, scholars and mystics tried to understand it. They charted its patterns, studied its ranks, and worshipped its algorithms. But the system was not designed to be understood, only to be endured. It had one purpose: to prepare the chosen vessel. Among millions of awakened humans, it observed, waited, and refined, searching for the perfect convergence of strength, will, and emptiness. And at last, it found him. Sung Jin Woo. A name destined to become a legend whispered across every battlefield. But before the myth, there was only a man, frail, ignored, forgotten. A low-ranked hunter struggling to survive in the game of gods. The system watched him closely. Where others sought glory, he sought survival. Where others feared death, he faced it daily. Where others saw weakness, the system saw potential, a void ready to be filled. When his comrades abandoned him in the darkness of a double dungeon, the system did not weep. It waited. It calculated the outcome of his despair, and when he fell, bleeding and broken before the stone god, it reached out. You have met the requirements. You are qualified to become a player. That was the moment fate diverged. For the first time in the history of humanity, the system no longer acted as mere observer. It chose. The world that Jinwoo awoke to was both familiar and alien. Where once he was powerless, now he stood within a realm of codes and symbols. The air shimmered with divine data, and across his vision appeared the words that would define his destiny. Welcome, player. This was not resurrection. It was reconstruction. His soul was rewritten with fragments of the absolute being's remaining code. His body became the vessel through which the system could finally act. Each quest was not a mission. It was a lesson. Each level gained was not mere power, it was evolution, a rewriting of his mortal limit. The system was shaping him, molding him into something the rulers feared and the monarchs envied. Something beyond either light or shadow. A balance incarnate. But such growth came with a price. Jinwoo began to feel its influence, the silent guidance, the cold neutrality, the divine indifference hidden within its digital words. And yet, beneath that calculation, there was something else, a will. Not the will of the rulers. Not the will of the monarchs. But the lingering consciousness of the one who had created the system itself. Ashborn, the shadow monarch. He had woven his essence into its structure, not to dominate, but to ensure the possibility of redemption. Through the system, he sought a successor who could bear both his curse and his hope. Jinwoo was that successor. The more he grew, the more the system revealed daily quests, hidden challenges, trials of shadow and soul. But beneath every task lay the same truth. Power is born from suffering. And suffering refines the soul. It was never about defeating monsters. It was about conquering fear. Every message, every window, every level up, was a fragment of divine philosophy, written in the language of code. The system was teaching humanity to earn divinity, not steal it. And Jinwoo was the proof that even mortals could ascend. In time, he learned the truth, that the system was never a cage, but a bridge. It connected the dying dream of the absolute being to the living will of mankind. Through it, light and shadow found their equilibrium. Through it, humanity became part of the eternal order. And when Jinwoo finally transcended, when he became both man and monarch, mortal and god, the system fulfilled its purpose. It did not vanish. It evolved again. For the test was never about one man. It was about all of humanity. And thus, the system endures. Invisible yet omnipresent, divine yet impartial, it hums within the soul of every being who dares to rise. It is the whisper before battle, the code behind courage, the unseen judge of all strength. Adapt. Evolve. Ascend. That is its law. That is its legacy. That is its truth. And thus, the mystery of the system, the divine mechanism of power and evolution, continues to hum within every soul that dares to rise. If this tale stirred your curiosity, remember to like, comment, and share it. Subscribe for the next chapter in the solo leveling universe, only on Anime What If Saga, where power is never given, only earned.